6:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the Friday edition of the newspaper review, where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. This week has been all about internally generated revenue, and it is not pretty in so many states. A few states did so well, with Lagos doing amazingly well, even though some people argue they could do more. But Lagos having an astonishing over 860 billion in terms of internally generated revenue, and that is wow. And you wonder what's happening in other states. But what piqued my interest had to do with a statistics made by StatiSense when they, did a comparison for 4 states in particular that has a budget for 2024 for the office of the governor that is way above their internally generated revenue. That is, those states, what they've budgeted for the year for the government's office is more than what they even make in a year. And you ask yourself, why? Are you not, if it's a real life story, it's like you're living above your means. It's like you're not cutting your coat according to your available materials. And the 4 states are Cross River State, Imo State, Anambra State, and Taraba State, with Cross River having a budget of 53.39 billion naira for the government office and has an internal generated revenue of 31.56 billion naira. Imo State with 43.05 billion for the government office and 21.05 billion for its IGR. Anambra State 33.97 billion for the government office. Well, it just took a little bit of money away from the IGR, which is 33.46 billion. And Taraba State having 13.31 billion for the government office budget and having an internally generated revenue of 10.87 billion naira. And you ask yourself again, do you need to live above your means? When states are not producing anything, when states are not generating enough income and are only dependent on the federal government, it means that most of the time that state cannot live up to the economic ambition for its people. Because at the end of the day, if you are only going to be dependent on the federal government, it means your people would have to depend on themselves for most things, because your state cannot actually produce most things that can make them actually make money. And you as the government, you can now internally generate money from your citizens. And that is really, really sad situation that we find in our country, where the states are not really working enough to make sure that their citizens are having a good life. And all Nigerians, our focus is always, what is the president doing? But have you asked yourself this morning, what is your governor doing to make sure that you have a better life? Once again, I say good morning and welcome to the newspaper review. My name is Uche Okorie, and on the paper review, we do everything we have to make sure the stories are made simpler and we analyze them to the best of our abilities.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Omobolade Oladipo, and we say good morning to you. Hope you're doing okay. It's a rainy morning this morning, or a drizzly morning. I don't know what to call it, but it's kind of wet. I hope you're keeping yourself covered. You see, the weather. I don't understand it. The weather. I don't get it because it's sunny today
And tomorrow is something else.
It is something else. What exactly is going on? And have you noticed something that the moment it is 6 o'clock, it becomes bright.
And once it's 6 in the evening, it goes darker.
It goes darker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? You are messing with my sleeping pattern. What's going on? I have a schedule. Please follow my schedule.
I think that switched about a couple of days ago. And I think it has to relate, I don't know, but I'm guessing because of recent, we saw in the UK that the daylight thing is, the time changed where the daylight had to come up at, I think, 2 a.m.
Yeah, 2 a.m.
So, so when I noticed the whole...
I think they're currently 1 hour behind now.
When I noticed the whole thing, I was like, maybe this has to do with all the whole thing they do with their daylight in the UK and in the US, where you have to like switch your time an hour back sometimes or switch your time an hour forward sometimes. Probably those are the things that, the weather change, the whole... I do not understand it. But maybe we should be doing things like that. Maybe we should switch it to an hour forward and say, okay, now it's 7 o'clock, now it's darker or something. But I'm thinking that's what they do.
Yeah. You see, I'm just looking at you and I'm like, I don't know.
But they do that because they say it's daylight thinking, then you have to switch your clock 1 hour backward. Because they have to wake up to switch. It doesn't switch itself. They switch it 1 hour backward.
I don't know anything about that. I probably just go and check it. Yeah, I can check that. I can check that out. But anyways, you can check us out on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM. You can call our studio line 0700 1021 1021, and we are also on WhatsApp 0907 224 5018. We're live on our website www.highimpactstudios.com is the newspaper review. When we come back from the break, we'll dive straight into the dailies. Don't go away.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Well, the newspaper review is the show in case you are just joining us, where we analyze all of the stories that made front page on the dailies right on our Impact Radio, your urban lifestyle station. Moving straight to the papers, remember you can always be a part of the conversation if you reach us on 0700 1021 1021, or if you text us or WhatsApp us on 0907 224 5018. Moving straight to the Guardian newspaper this morning, leads with a big one on page 4 and 5, and it says, from third world to superpower, how to lift millions from poverty to prosperity via local initiatives. This has a huge picture of India and Nigeria together, so I guess that's to do with India. Well, we know they did something amazing in their economy that made, well, so much people move away from poverty to, prosperity. But they still have about 100 million people living below poverty line. But when you look at their population of over 1 billion people, you wonder, if it's 100 million out of a billion, that is still, a favorable number in terms of economic prosperity for the country. And we do hope someday we can have numbers like, maybe 5 million out of 200 and something million below poverty, because hey, poverty must exist in a country. There's no country that does not have poverty. But the numbers of people that are poor, now that is what has to be tackled. Beside that big image this morning, prescription appeal court reserves judgment on IPOB's appeal. That story you find on page 28. Underneath that one, FX crisis, FG gives Nigerians 9 months to deposit dollars in banks. You find that one on page 2. Underneath it, our relationship must be win-win, Tinubu tells France, China and Denmark. That story on page 3, which I think is what the case must be at every time we have investments with foreign countries. I believe it should be a win-win situation, not the other way around, where they benefit and we have to just provide. Underneath that big story, how we improved land administration in Edo. That is according to Obaseki. You see that story on page 28 of The Guardian this morning. Government media are partners in nation building, says information minister. That story is on page 7. Zenith Bank PLC records, okay, Rivers NLC pressing shutdown as Rabava PDP coalition warn of crisis escalation. You see that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Beside that one, it has the image of the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and it says tax reform bills. NAS adjourns plenary abruptly as NEC advises immediate withdrawal. I take that one more time. NAS adjourns plenary abruptly as NEC advises immediate withdrawal. That has, you see that story on page 6, and that has to do with the tax reform bills which was sent to the National Assembly by the President. 4 of them actually. So let's see how that one pans out. Underneath it, finally, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, EFCC recovers 248 billion naira, $105 million in 1 year. EFCC recovers 248 billion naira, $105 million in 1 year. Amazing. But where is the money at? That's what I would like to know. That story is on page 7, and that is it for the Guardian this morning.
The Vanguard newspaper for this morning, the front page of the Vanguard newspaper for this morning says there is hunger in the land. Governors admit back Tinubu. Relief should come for the people. This was stated by Uzodinma, and he adds, we must encourage Dangote refinery. Quotes NNPCL's Kyari as saying there is total subsidy removal, plans to alleviate poverty. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, federal government orders return of all forex into banks within 9 months. And the allocation, Rivers NLC threatens to withdraw services if ... We're going to find out later on what exactly they're talking about for the, allocation in Rivers State. Withdraw tax reform bill from the National Assembly. The NEC tells Tinubu. You can find that on page 25. Now, blackouts, Tinubu not discriminating against the North. Sometimes, what I like about politics is the conspiracy theories. That's what I like about it. Like, it's very interesting where, people just come up with stuff and just sit down and just concoct something and then just bring it out and say, you know what, this is why. I can sense, I can tell. But anyways, until you're sure, sometimes maybe you shouldn't say anything. But hey, we don't know for certain. But blackout, Tinubu not discriminating against the North. Find this on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Withheld salaries. Varsities, non-academic staff strike continues despite federal government's plea. Page 8 has this story. In the world of sports, Chelsea still wants Osimhen. So I have a question on this one. Why hasn't he gone to Chelsea?
Well, so many things. We don't have facts on this issue, but some people say he didn't want to collect less. But we know Chelsea right now have some sort of wage structure where they are trying to offload way too big players are earning so much. They're trying to, balance their books where at least if this player is earning about £70,000 a week, the next person is probably closer to about 80,000. They don't want big players that earn about 100 or 200,000 a week. And Osimhen, as of the summer transfer window that ended, had no intentions of bringing down his payday.
What is he currently earning?
I think he's earning close to about £200,000 a week. I am not certain.
This is far for you. So
he's not bringing it down. And you know how it is in the UK in terms of tax and all of that. So.
Exactly. So are you
so he's not thinking of it, and so that was why. There was, speculations that's why he didn't go to Chelsea, and at the end he had to go to Galatasaray on loan, which rumor are saying he's going to leave in January. But we saw a fan asking him a question about a couple of days ago. Osimhen, will you be leaving in January? And he says, I'll be here until the end. So who knows?
Maybe the end of the year.
Well, maybe the end of the season.
or end the season or something.
You know, so but he said it was going to be there until the end.
End is very subjective.
Oh
but
well.
end is-
Maybe until the end of when he feels like it needs to be there. It's personal feelings. And also, do not forget the news about the Nigerian thingy. I was always going to tell you about it. Nigeria won that case.
The Nigerian and Libya case.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's talk about it for a bit.
The news came out a couple of days ago.
Days ago,
but
yeah.
They were fined $50,000. 3 points went to Nigeria. I didn't expect it.
Wow.
But officially,
Libya was fined 50K.
yeah, $50,000.
Very good.
Yeah. So, but officially, we've qualified to the AFCON with that news.
but I'm curious. Though.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't follow up my bad. I'm very curious. How did it swing to our side?
Well, I guess it has to do with facts that probably they were really, not given proper welcome when they got there. So I guess those facts were made obvious by the Nigerian delegation, and they just had to favor us. So-
Wow, that's such good news.
Yeah.
Even though I'm celebrating late, it is such good news.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
It is.
Anyways, I think that is it on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper for this morning. If you were just joining us, where have you been? This is the newspaper review, and honestly, happy new month to you.
From the Vanguard State to the Daily Trust, we see this one saying presidency to withdraw controversial tax reform bills. NEC demands more consultation. Proposed legislations not against NAF. That's according to Onanuga. And that's on page 4. I think this is one I really would like to talk to our analyst about later on the show. But let's move straight down to the big image, which we have right here from the NEC. Criticism trails the Ekiti lawmakers' planned retreat to Canada. Well, I saw that bill yesterday, or that notice yesterday on X, and I was like, oh, a retreat to Canada? Well, but they claim as well that it's from their personal money. So, but I wonder, why would you need a retreat to Canada for you to know how to do good policies and all? Because they say they want to retreat on policies. Well, I think again, instead of all 16 to 20 something of you going there, why don't you invite whoever is teaching you that policies
Into
down
the
to
country.
Nigeria
Exactly.
and, cost less.
It
and
is
all that.
lesser in terms of cost. Exactly. But you see, that's the thing about the
so,
people.
yeah.
You know what? Just go on.
Well, underneath that one, 16 die in Ibadan building collapse. Really, really sad news. You need to go find that one on page 8 of the Daily Trust this morning. Beside it, Nigeria gets 2.8 billion naira from Google for A1 talent hunt. That is on AI development. We saw that news yesterday. It is on page 29. Zenith Bank post 1 trillion. Oh, again, I go with that again. Anyways, just
It seems to be a major story, though.
well, but it is personal at the end of the day.
Yeah, I understand it.
Flood kills 321 in 34 states, affects 1.4 million people. Real sad news there. Page 3 is where you find that one on the Daily Trust. Top bank executives under probe. That is according to the EFCC. You want to find out what bank executives they are talking about, you need to go look at that one on page 6 of the Daily Trust. And finally, on the Daily Trust this morning, we have not received any payment for petrol from marketers by Dangote. It is on page 7, and the back and forth keep going on between Ipman, Dangote, and the NNPCL in between both of them. Well, that's the Daily Trust for this morning.
Finally, on the review for this morning, let's take a quick look at the Punch newspaper. The front page of the Punch newspaper says tax review presidency mounts defense as 36 governors reject proposal. The writer states NEC asks President to withdraw bill from National Assembly. Tinubu panel says bill not against governors. Page 2 has that story. Federal government striking varsity workers, talks end in a deadlock. Federal government striking varsity workers, talks end in a deadlock. I cannot wait to get to that point where we do not have conversations like this anymore. Is there a time when that will ever happen in the country? It has always been since time immemorial.
Honestly.
There is always a conversation on varsity. Look at all these billions that we are hearing at the National Assembly. Why can't we just, what is happening with our educational system? Do they forget that, you see, academic staff and non-academic staff are human beings too? Are you thinking that because they're academic staff, they don't need to eat, they don't need to be taken care of, they don't want, the educational system to be better?
Like it's a charity job.
Like, is it exactly? Is this charity? Are you joking?
Yeah,
the reason why I've read this hard is so I can earn a good living. Do you understand? Like, why am I going through all of this, stressing myself, building the nation? Because whether you like it or not, a lot of these people that are making these policies, let me take that again. Some of these people that are making these policies probably or told us that they went through this system. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyways, I am just
from a lot to some. That's a huge breakdown.
I am just really saying that it is really, there is no, apart from people that have, academia in their blood, apart from people that have grown to love it so much, the majority aren't looking forward, even if they did very well in school. A lot of times when you do very well in school, there's a high possibility, there's a chance for you to become like an assistant lecturer or something, or a research assistant, and stuff like that. But you see, that one, the moment he's done with his first class and does it and be like, bye, I'm going to be working for the Big Four, or I'm traveling out of the country. Some people will rather seek asylum in another country, doing odd jobs with big degrees that they finished with in the university than coming back to become a lecturer. I was watching a docu one time on YouTube, and they were interviewing people that have went to seek asylum from different countries, like abroad in different countries too, and you would hear different stories, but there was about 2 or 3 persons that they were doing really well in the country, like Nigeria, and in fact there was this guy, they did really well in the uni, and stuff like that, and in fact he had already become like an assistant lecturer, but because of all the strike, the salaries that weren't paid and everything, like everything was running to the ground. The guy was frustrated, like he wasn't no source of livelihood, he didn't have like business because his life was academia and everything, so he had to seek asylum outside. He was living on the streets for a while, and then he started washing toilets and doing all of those things. And when I was asking him, is he happy doing it? He said he prefers it because it puts food on his table, and somehow he's been able to gather a lot of money to get himself a shelter and all of those things, that he knows that if he's steadfast with this, he can get his feet on the ground, possibly go back to academia and stuff like that, and he's going to be fine. All I just said is, wow.
Honestly, man, you live your life and you go there and it's less.
That's all I'm just saying. Well, it's not necessarily. So here's the science to it. I was having a conversation with somebody that here it might look, so in terms of status and ego, it looks less. In terms of monetary value, it's different.
Yeah, completely. It's
different. you could be, I mean, only if you are currently doing C-suite and doing a C-suite at a multinational or a very big company. If that is not the case, you could be a manager and the salary that you're earning is less than a clerk in a multinational company in the same country. Definitely. What you have is just the name and the status, but not necessarily the remuneration to back
that up.
So sometimes it could be that way. It's just a crazy reality.
Really it is.
It is a crazy
honestly.
reality. But anyways, as moving on, flooding. NEC plans new dams for Southeast and South. You can find that on page 28 of the Punch newspaper. Crashed helicopter wreckage found 3 passengers remain missing. Page 28, yes, page 28 as that story on the Punch newspaper. Spain flood deaths rise to 150 and hundreds have been displaced. That's a sad one. That's
really
a very
sad
sad one. Just above the nameplate, Ipman can't lift petrol without NNPCL approval. Dangote Refinery saying this. Page 19 has the story. 12 federal government MDA salaries to be delayed. I want to know what that story is all about. Page 19 has that. Federal government offers 9-month window for free forex deposit. Page 19 is loaded with a lot. For the Ondo governor poll, INEC records 72% poll. Is this poll collection? PVC rather.
Yeah, PVC.
PVC collection. Page 28 has a story. APC, PDP differ over Aida Tiwa scorecard. Page 28 also has that story. So far, so good. That is it on the front page of the Punch newspaper for this morning. You can share with us your thoughts. You can share with us what you would like to say about some of the story, what you think about some of the stories by sending us a WhatsApp message 0907 224 5018 0907 224 5018 or call our studio line 0700 1021 1021.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where creativity meets production perfection. Need an outstanding audio production? We deliver professional jingles, engaging voiceovers, and attention-grabbing radio promos that stand out from the crowd.
If you're in the podcasting world, we've got the ideal recording space for you. Our studio is designed to ensure pristine sound, making it the perfect place to bring your podcast to life.
But we don't stop at audio. Looking for a space to film your next big project? High Impact Studios offers customizable spaces for movie sets and video production.
Giving you everything you need to create stunning visuals.
Whatever your vision, High Impact Studios is here to make it a reality.
Let's create something amazing together.
It's been raining mediocre. Repetition. Boring. But this frequency modulation, 102.1 FM, has opened multiple umbrellas to shield you from it all. Step under the umbrella of the Morning Impact Show and explore a world of morning informations, metro stories, newspaper review, sports in a jiffy, conversations of the day, and games. Move over to the umbrella of the Hey Midday Show and get familiar with the FFO canteen, the game room.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back to the show. This is the newspaper analysis where we talk about stories that made front page on the dailies this morning. And on the show, we're about to talk to our in-house analyst in person of Dr. Dayo Kayode. Good morning to you, sir. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you today? Nice to be with you on a Friday morning.
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. It's good to have you here on a Friday morning too, sir. Moving straight to it, we see the governors talking to the NEC yesterday, where they finally admit that there is a hunger in the land, in as much as some, still went on to applaud the president for all the reforms he has taken so far. But one major thing we also noticed was that 36 state governors not consenting to the new 4 tax reform bills being sent to the National Assembly and asking them to as well, withdraw and wait for more consultation. What do you have to say about that?
You see, there's no doubt about it that when you see most of these are so-called politicians trying to get into one elective office or the other, they never had a program, and that's just the problem. They never had a program. If they have been having programs, they will have known how they are going to tackle various issues within the nation. All right? How can somebody come out and be telling us that there is no hunger in the land? How can somebody say that? There have been hunger in the land for how long? What exactly do they have as within their program to solve this hunger? Rather, they kept on weaponizing poverty. They kept on weaponizing poverty, believing that yes, everybody is out to come and be begging for money for food from them. Are we beggars? No, Nigerians are no beggars. Nigerians are hardworking people. All we are asking for is an enabling environment to be able to exhibit our potentialities towards our economic independence. But they know the way we have economic independence, they won't be able to be bamboozling us the way they always do. Imagine somebody seeking an elective office, saying he or she is campaigning, will be in a motorcade, and then be throwing t-shirts, be throwing cup mugs, be throwing pressing iron. Is that campaign? No. But unfortunately, we people, we have refused to learn, especially the so-called educated elite. And honestly, my submission this morning is even going to be the so-called educated elite. Ask how many of them are following what is happening in America political scene now. The way they are comporting themselves in electioneering campaign. Is that the way? Is that the way we are campaigning here? But then we say we are practicing American presidential system. Are we practicing the system the way it's being practiced there? And somebody will now come around as a presidential. How will it work for you? Are you taking it the way those people you copying from are taking it? It's not like you are copying a nation that is trying to copy Nigeria on how to plant and then have bountiful harvest of yam. You know, you have to put yam into the ground, and then you are now putting yam. You are now hanging yam on top of the tree. So how will you harvest? How will you harvest? Tell me. That is exactly what we are doing in this country. It's appalling for somebody to now be saying, yeah, okay, now I'm agreeing there is hunger in the land. What an idiocy of governance.
Okay, real sad one there, but let's move to something else that is also affecting our economy. And we see the FG now looking into making sure that Forex stays in the bank. And we now notice that 9 months has been given for most people to return their hard currency, foreign currency, into the banking system, where they say they can do so for free now. But do you think this is how to save the Forex issues in the country, or is this just going to be another trial and error?
The question is even this. What is our legal tender in Nigeria?
Well, Naira. Yes.
Is it not Naira?
It is Naira.
Then how come? What temerity has some people to now be offering goods and services in dollars? Are you aware of that?
Of course.
There are some schools that they take their fees in dollars.
Which is one of the case of the EFCC case with Bello.
There are some estate agents. That gives out houses in dollars. Why are we allowing that in the first instance? Why are we allowing that? So tell me, that is where to start from. Then you also go to the governors. Go to the churches. Because it has been let me use the word, noticed, not even alleged, noticed that so many of them, in order to preserve the value of the quantum of naira that comes to them, immediately they always change it to dollars. Immediately they change it to dollars. Okay, where does all these people that spend dollars, where do they get it from? Where do they get it from? They go out there, mop up the dollars. And the people that need that dollar genuinely will not be able to get it. The government is not yet serious. They are not yet serious. First of all, cancel trading of dollars in Nigeria. It's appalling. Listen, my brother. Without any form of arrogance, I have been to America, I've been to Europe, I've been to UK, I've been to virtually 60% of the world. I have never seen any country where they sell foreign currencies on the streets, except here. I saw it in Liberia. When I was in Liberia, I saw it in Liberia. Okay, so why are we allowing that in Nigeria? You can't see that in France. You can't see that in Vienna, Austria. You can't see it in Germany. You can't see it in Washington. You can't see it in Maryland. Neither can you see it in Ohio. Why are we allowing it to happen in Nigeria? So not until when certain things are being put in place. Okay, imagine you are now saying this. Will the same rules applying to you, will it also apply to the so-called big wigs?
Huge question.
Will it apply to the so-called big wigs? Sometimes ago, somebody was arrested for spraying money, and he was jailed. But have we not been seeing people spraying money here and there? Have they been arrested? These are issues. Because the people themselves, they have refused to take the responsibility that they are supposed to take. They don't know their rights, duties, and obligations to their nation. And that's the problem. And when they see some of us talking, they say, don't mind him. He's a troublemaker. He's a troubleshooter. But we are saying the obvious. We are saying the truth. We are saying what should happen. Because we want our nation to be where it's supposed to be. Remember, Mandela said, the whole world is waiting for the emergence of Africa. But for that to happen, Nigeria must get its act right.
True to that. Finally, under as much as possible, under 3 minutes, the Rivers allocation, which was stopped by the court. I want to have your take on that particular issues. We've seen the NLC coming out to say
which allocation?
The Rivers State, Rivers State allocation.
Rivers State allocation.
Yes, and we've seen the Rivers NLC coming to threaten strike and all of that, and we're seeing this in court. How have we come to this situation whereby an allocation from the federal government can be stopped when a suit is being made from the internal house, that is from one of the 24 persons who were in the pro-Wike faction of the National Assembly that made that suit to the High Court?
See, what we are experiencing as regards the circumstances in Rivers State is nothing other than executive and judicial rascality. Executive and judicial rascality. Power play. And when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. The question is this: why is Wike not allowing peace to reign in Rivers? Why is it? Why is he trying to put people against themselves? The person that handed over to him do that while he was there?
Mm.
No. He was being allowed to rule peacefully. Is it now a sin for you to assist somebody to get somewhere? Where was he in 1999? Where was Wiki in 1999? He was a mere Tajabe lawyer.
Mm.
Somebody assisted him to become the chairman of a local government.
Mm-hmm. The Obiakpo local government.
Somebody assisted him to climb the political ladder without any answers.
Mm.
So why are you now making unnecessary boisterousness? Because you assisted somebody to become the governor. And so, are you going to be the first person? And are you going to be the last? I mean, we people should reason properly. And then both the federal and the judiciary, they should just answer what is happening in River State and allow peace to reign. Because people are suffering. People are not seeing the dividends of democracy as they are supposed to see there. And why? Because some people are flexing muscles. Well, I will say it's a season thing that is happening in River State. Let's wait and see how it plays out.
Well, that's a fine way for us to leave it this morning. Let's wait and see how what happens in River State plays out. I want to say a very big thank you, Dr. Kayode, for coming to the show this morning. Your insights are always welcome as I look forward to talking to you another day.
Yes, thank you very much. I always enjoy your baritone too. You know, it's always,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day and happy weekend ahead.
You too, sir. Have a good weekend ahead of you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
With so many things happening in the country, we're talking about hunger in the land, we're talking about poverty here and there, we're talking about increased forex exchange, and we're also talking about the rascality of the judiciary, the executive, when it comes to the case of good governance in Nigeria. But will all these things come to an end? Will we get the dividend? Will we get, I beg your pardon, the dividends of good democracy soon? That is the question most Nigerians are asking. And the answers lie in their hands. It takes you as a person, it takes you as a citizen to demand for good governance. You need to start doing your duty as a citizen when it comes to demanding good governance. Different ways to do that. Speak out, talk about what you want. When it's time to vote, vote for the right persons. Vote for persons whose ideas you think fits what you want for the country, for your state, for your local government. You need to be politically involved in the things happening in Nigeria for us to move Nigeria forward. Happy new month, Nigeria. Happy new month, Lagos. And I wish you all an amazing new month. And today happens to be the last day of the newspaper review for this week. Come next week, we'll come your way again on Monday with another brand new edition. So until then, my name remains Uche Okorie. Have yourself a fantastic weekend.